We've been here in New Zealand mga 28 years actually. We arrived here in 1984. In fact, I think my husband and I were the very first Filipino professional to arrive as a couple in Wellington. So it was quite groundbreaking for us because it was a little bit lonely in those days because there was no other Filipinos other than a handful of us who get together now and then. And as soon as the doors opened for other Filipinos to come, we built huge friendships amongst the Filipinos. You'd walk around the streets and you would always smile at each other, and before you know it, you all become close friends. So all our relationships in Wellington amongst the Filipinos have been built very strongly. And I think dito sa Wellington we're quite a close community. Everybody works well together, and there's a mutual respect for each other, and there's also quite a lot of support where people can provide support. For a living, I am an interior designer by profession. I do a lot of corporate work, so that's my background. I've been working for quite a large company in Wellington for quite a while, but I now work for myself. So I own my own business, and for almost 3 years now, and I'm doing not too badly, I must say. Yeah, so I've worked as a branch manager here in Wellington for an interior, quite a well-known company. I won't name them, but I've done quite well. I'm well known in Wellington for the years that I've done, the design work, and it is a very small community in Wellington. It's not like Auckland. People here are quite parochial in their, they like to support the local people as much as they can. I do a lot of government work. I've done work for the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Ministry of Justice. I've done insurance companies. Recently I've done Asia Foundation New Zealand, which is one of the companies that liaise with Asia as well as New Zealand, and they do a lot of support work and coordination between trade and information and about each other's countries, not just the Philippines. And I've done IT company, Frond International, Brother International, so I've been doing quite a number of work for those companies. It was so long ago. I worked for the Philippine Airlines for about 9 years before coming here, and it was, I think I enjoyed, that's one of the best jobs I've actually enjoyed because in those days, the Philippine Airlines was very much a forerunner for the airline industry. A lot of other airlines around Asia would come to the Philippines and learn what we do. We were one of the first to start the first class lounges. Upscale the first class services, including the normal air seats if you get them. And they were quite comfortable. We were top notch, I think, in Asia. I think it's quite significant that he's actually in New Zealand because one is that it raises the profile of the Filipinos. One, we're actually the second is that we're actually growing as a migrant community. I think we're probably the 5th largest so far in New Zealand, number-wise, providing quite a lot of people in very professional services through the country. One thing I think his role would be very good is promoting the Filipino businesses, for that matter. I think that's quite key because although there is a lot of trade between the two countries, I don't believe there is actually a balance there. In New Zealand, I call ourselves we as well because I belong to those two countries. There is a lot of us exporting to the Philippines with our dairy and milk products, but I don't see a lot of Filipino products coming here other than typically your bananas and pineapples. It would be good to sort of see a wide variety of products that we produce. Our industries in the Philippines is so creative, even with furniture. I'd love to see a lot of those things come into New Zealand because when I go to Manila and I look at mga furniture na dinidesign sa Philippines, I take my hat off. And I wish they could do this in New Zealand, and if they can't, then dapat we should bring them in some way or another. Yeah, more than just Chinese furniture. Well, I think like any industry, design and architecture is ever evolving. When I was in design school, ang focus nila was so different from the focus today. Today we've got environmental issues. Yung mga ganun ba? And the Philippines, one of the things that I've always respected about I guess, the creativity of the Filipinos is that they've always been, even if it's not been under the environmental sort of context, but we reuse a lot of things. We go, there's so many things that we do that they're not even doing here yet, environmentally, but yet it's not recognized because we have not been able to find something that they can measure it by, whilst overseas it's already measurable. But I think creative-wise, I think, the designers have the talents that are available today, the kids. Well, stay creative, keep learning. Don't stop learning new things, Keep challenging yourselves in terms of creativity, but learn to do business well. It's not just enough to be creative. You need to know how to run a business. Financially, learn all of those things. And that's how you're going to, because if you can't find jobs anywhere else, you can work for yourself. You can be self-employed and do very, very well. But key thing there, integrity. Always be very honest in the way you deal with your clients.